Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Tuesday, the 27th day of September. 1 week until the first preseason game for our New York Knicks. I hope that you're healthy and safe today. I hope that you and your family are healthy and safe today, and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met. Blessings upon those that work in healthcare fields and those who are the first responders who every day have one goal in mind: to save human lives. Blessings also upon those that pick up garbage to keep streets and sidewalks and parks, wrecks clean, and those that make deliveries of things like food for our convenience. Also, let me say, blessings and protection to those that are in the path of Hurricane Ian, those especially on the west coast of Florida, in Clearwater, St. Petersburg, my brothers in Tampa. Blessings and protection upon you by the Most High. Let me continue. Double blessings on the men and women who are trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover the teenagers and children that are the victims of child molestation and pedophilia. Also, people who are victims of prostitution and child prostitution, pornography and child pornography, human trafficking and sex slavery. And double curses on those perpetrators, those profiteers, and those nasty perverts who traffic in this human misery. Finally, blessings upon the homeless, nearly 600,000 men, women, and children who are on the streets of the United States of America, and millions around the world in similar or worse conditions, and blessings upon them. For theirs is the kingdom. So yesterday was Media Day 2022 for the 2022-2023 season. What I wanted to do today was basically go over the Media Day. Now, the Media Day, if you've seen enough of them, and I have, over all of the times of New York Knicks, it's an exciting day for Knicks Nation. It's always an exciting day because it's the start of a season. So the true Knicks Nation fan, not the haters, the true Knicks Nation fan is excited about Media Day because it means the start of the season. We get ready to get into it, right? But what I also try to get from the Media Day is the tone of the players. The spiritual, emotional tone of the players. Are they hopeful? What is their emotional state like? What are they hoping to see? And I liked how Monica McNutt did the interview yesterday with the players she interviewed, because she had just give me 2 words to describe this season, this team, this New York Knicks team. And most of the players were talking about tough, determined, hardworking, and that is a good thing. It was interesting also to note that I noted on Twitter that with Randle's interview, Julius Randle's interview with the media and with Monica, the focus of Knicks Nation, including myself, was on his mental state. We wanted to all see what kind of mental state Julius Randle was in. And he was jovial, he was happy, he was loose. Now, the year that the Knicks won 41 games 2 seasons ago, if you remember that Media Day, now many of you may not remember that media, but I do. Julius came through. He reminded me of that character from the Adventurers named Thanos. He was serious. He was almost brooding, and he came out and busted it out that year. Okay. So I don't know. This year was the opposite. He was more loose. He was jovial. I don't know what that means. I'm hoping he comes loose and jovial. The thing about Julius, that if you really listen to any of his interviews, he always is articulate. He always gives the right answer, but it doesn't always translate to what he does on the court. Okay. So like yesterday, he was saying, he's glad he won't have to handle the ball as much. He actually said that. He's glad that that other players, especially Jalen Brunson, are going to be there to handle the ball for him. And he won't have to handle as much. He'll get the ball in other spots closer to the basket. This is what he said yesterday. Now, I don't know if this is part of the new scheme that Tom Thibodeau might be bringing out, because he also said, Julius, that is, that the Knicks wanted to run this year. That's big, because Tom Thibodeau's offense, as we are very much aware, did not necessarily lend itself to fast breaks. But if the Knicks would push the ball, and having Jalen Brunson and Derrick Rose and Emmanuel Quickly and Deuce McBride, those guys have in common is they keep their head up. They're real point guards. At least 3 of them are. And they look for their players running the floor, especially in Obi Toppin or Mitchell Robinson. we'll talk about them. But Julius Randle had a very jovial spirit, a very upbeat spirit. He looked rejuvenated. He looked rested. He obviously is in tip-top condition. He actually looked more streamlined, more svelte, more sinew than normal for him. He looked like he lost some weight, became more muscular. So that is positive for the Knicks. Let's hope what he just spoke to us in terms of handling the ball less and running the floor and getting the ball in better positions closer to the basket. Let's hope that that is the case, because for Julius, in my view, is if we can get Julius to do more off-ball movement and running to the hole the way Obi does. Because Obi, and I'm not trying to down Julius in favor of Obi for you Julius fans and Julius Hive. Please don't take this the wrong way. I know you're ultra sensitive, like insulin-like sensitive because of Julius. But look, all I'm saying is, if he were to move more without the basketball on the weak side of the floor, he would get more opportunities. He would open up the floor more because he attracts attention when he moves through. Okay. And he would get more mismatches for low post moves, which he's very good at. Okay. So that is what I'm hoping comes out of this. I'm not looking for him to be jacking up a lot of threes this year. Okay. If he hits the 3-pointer, that'd be great. But if we could get Julius in the 12 to 15 foot range with open looks, we'll be very good. We'll be in very good shape. Of course, my concern, which wasn't addressed by Julius, is I'm looking for 100% effort on the defensive end of the floor. Now, that brings me to Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose, as I mentioned in yesterday's video, one of the most interesting interviews, both with Monica McNutt as well as the general media. One of the most interesting interviews was Derrick Rose for a number of reasons. I mentioned him overcoming his sugar habit and the change in his body as a result. And he went into more detail about how much sacrifice that took and about how it was Thibodeau that came at him telling him to do these things, and that he was really offended at first, but he received it. And then he went on and made the change that you saw, which he looked fantastic. I mean, Derrick Rose looked excellent yesterday. And so with his ability, to me, in my opinion, in terms of historical people who are finishers, there's been nobody better than Derrick Rose. To me, the guy that comes closest to him is Kyrie Irving as far as finishers. Now, we're not talking about better players. Some of you are going to get all tripped out because you think I'm comparing them as players. I'm not. I'm talking about finishers, guys that can finish at the rim, get to the rim and finish. Derrick Rose is one of the best ever. And to me, he is the best ever. And to be able to get that for 15 to 20 minutes a game for him, because of the condition that he's in right now, that's going to be good for us. It's going to be good for Mobb Deep coming off the bench. Very good. Mobb Deep is going to be probably one of the best bench units in the league this year. I'm just telling you how I'm feeling about this. So Derrick Rose, though, said a very interesting statement when he said, we have to be held accountable. And he was talking about Julius Randle. I think Randle came through the door at the moment he was saying, because he looked up and said something. I think it was Randle he was talking to. He said, we have to be held accountable. And we can't be getting in our feelings when somebody tells you missed the coverage. Now, this is very important. If we can get, and it goes back to my point about getting a full effort from Randle on the defensive end. If we can get an honest effort from him on the defensive end, instead of just waving people by, instead of not making rotation, and if he misses his rotation, if we can get people to get in his behind about it, and he received that, brethren, we're going to be very good. The Knicks are going to be very good this year. If they could do that, they're going to be very good, because that was one of the things missing last year. And Thibodeau was not holding Randle accountable. So for D Rose to mention that, and to mention that Thibodeau was on, he said that Thibodeau was on his behind from the off season, calling him, texting him about changing his diet and how he was working out. And D Rose received it after first being offended by it. He received it and came through. You know now, D Rose, and he said it. He said, I couldn't say anything last year because I wasn't playing, because I was hurt. That's how D Rose hits. He's really humble like that. But he said, now it's different. So you're going to hear from D Rose, Mr. Randle. If you don't see the effort, you're going to hear from D Rose. Okay? You're going to hear from RJ. You're going to hear from JB and JB's dad. I think we're in good shape just with those changes. Just if it doesn't even matter the schemes in terms of what Thibodeau might change offensively, become more creative or whatever. If we get those changes, those are mental changes. If we get those mental changes, especially from Julius Randle, especially if he's going to be a starting power forward, which he's going to be, the Knicks are going to be good this year. They're going to be very good this year. They're going to surprise a lot of people. And like I said before, top six. Okay. I put the floor at 45 wins. That's what I said. I've been saying that. Some of y'all know. I've been saying 45 wins. That's the floor. They could get better. They could be better than that. Okay. So, and again, these mental things, these emotional things, these spirit things, if we get that commitment from a D Rose, which when D Rose speaks, he's like Dean Witter. They used to say Dean Witter when Dean Witter, was it Dean Witter? I forgot. When he speaks, people listen because he don't say much. And he said, last year I couldn't talk because I wasn't healthy. This year is different. You gotta have accountability. You cannot get in your feelings if somebody tries to check you. That's directly Randle all last year. And I think if we want to be real, smacking the computer out of his boy's hand like that, when the assistant coach was trying to talk to him, pushing people away when they came at him, yeah, that directed at Julius. And that's very key. And I'm hoping, just like Knicks Nation, that Randle comes correct with that. If he does, you're going to be very good. Very good. What I noticed, a couple of the young players, especially three, Obi, RJ, and Mitchell Robinson. I don't know if you go back in media days past, okay, go back to Obi's rookie year, go back to Mitchell Robinson's rookie year, go back to RJ's rookie year. There has been, you can see just by the interviews, there has been tremendous growth as mature ball players. None of these guys were wide-eyed and bushy-tailed. None of these guys were wet behind the ears green. They approaching this season with a professionalism and an enthusiasm that was very good to see yesterday. Obi Toppin said, "This basketball, and I'm prepared, and I've worked hard," and he has. And so with him running with, and this is the thing about it now, just by removing Alec Burke, and I'm not trying to say Alec Burke was no scrub, but I think we agree, most of us agree, Alec Burke was played out of position as a point guard by Thibodeau. That was Thibodeau's fault. Okay, so we wasted time with that. We wasted time with Kemba Walker at the point guard playing on one leg, right? You take away those two things, and you're left with a Jalen Brunson, who's going to be the coach on the floor, Emmanuel Quickly, Derrick Rose, and then you still got Deuce McBride, whether he plays or not. But you got a group of point guards that if any of them are given significant minutes, you're not going to be like you was last year. You're going to be better. Okay, you're going to be better. All right? So the real is going to be Jalen Brunson followed by Derrick Rose and Emmanuel Quickly. With that, you're going to be 100% better this year at the point guard position. Okay? And that is going to help Obi be better because Obi runs the floor probably better than anybody else on the team. He runs the floor. He cuts to the basket. He gets and takes advantage of mismatches under the basket with the alley-oops and the lobs better than anybody else on the team. Okay, in terms of the overall package, in terms of running the floor. With the speed that he has and the athleticism, now you got point guards that can find him and have him take advantage of that. If you could get 6 points a game of easy baskets, 6 to 10 points a game of easy baskets, that's going to help us win more basketball games, and Obi's ready for that. They also mentioned, or Ian Begley mentioned, that Obi Toppin would be playing a bigger role. I don't know how they're going to get to this. Because there's some things we know ain't going to change. One of them is Thibodeau is going to play Julius Randle 30, 35 minutes a game. I don't know how Obi gets his minutes. It's going to be interesting to see. I mean, if Thibodeau changed, that would be good. Personally, I'm not expecting much of a change from Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau is what he is. What helps me with him this year is two things. Number one, you did, as I mentioned, you moved Alec Burks, you moved Kemba Walker, you moved these guys. So he can't depend on them and say they're the best point guards. He got to play. He's got a point guard. He got his boy out. They got basically his godson, literally, Jalen Brunson. So with that in mind, that's a problem we don't have to worry about. If he plays Jalen Brunson and runs him into the ground, we still got IQ, we still got D Rose. We in good shape. Okay, so you just helped Tiz by removing certain players. Okay, you just helped him. I don't believe Evan Fournier is starting, and I've been telling y'all that. I don't believe he's going to start. And why I don't believe it is because Leon Rose was talking about competition for playing time in camp, which to me translates into three players: Cam Reddish, Quentin Grimes, and Evan Fournier. It translates into them having to earn their playing time by busting somebody's butt in camp, starting today. And I want to tell you something. A guy like a Fournier, that's a 10-year vet, he's not the guy to win minutes if you're telling him you're starting from ground zero. He's not that guy. He's the guy that wants to come into camp and knows you're getting 25, 30 minutes a game as a starting two guard. He wants that. If you say you got these young kids clapping out your heels and you got to earn your minutes, he ain't gonna swim in that pool. He's not. Cam will. Quentin will. Evan Fournier ain't starting. I know some of y'all don't want to receive that. Is what it is. He's not starting. Okay? He's gonna come off the bench if he's still on the roster. We're gonna find out because Leon did not even mention him in the 22-minute interview with Alan Hunt. Did not even mention him. Mentioned all 12 players and missed Evan Fournier. How you gonna do that? You think that was by accident? Come on, wake up, y'all. So he's not starting. And then Ian, just as a side note, he put out yesterday, there's some players that you can expect to play even if there might be a veteran better. Come on. He's trying to tell y'all what's going on. But you know what? Let's wait till opening night and find out. But I'm telling you, I'm expecting big things from Quentin Grimes and Cam Reddish. So I'm excited about that. Evan Fournier is real. When he interviewed, he's for real. He's correct. He's one of the best interviews to me on the Knicks because he comes real and he comes correct. Okay, when he speaks, he's not sugarcoating nothing. I like Evan Fournier. I just don't think I want him stopping Quentin Grimes from starting or stopping RJ from starting at the 2 and Cam at the 3. That's my problem with him. I want the Knicks to win 45 or more, and I'm saying if you start Quentin Grimes or you start Cam Reddish, that's going to happen. I'm not so sure with Evan Fournier as a starter. But I'm pretty confident if you bring Evan Fournier in Mobb Deep. Now, Jalen Brunson. I mentioned in the live podcast we did Sunday that to me, Jalen Brunson reminds me of a basketball version of Derek Jeter. He's a leader. It just comes through in his persona. He's a leader. He's extremely intelligent. That also comes through. And he plays basketball with IQ. He plays it with IQ because he's not 6'5". He doesn't have a 7-foot wingspan. He's not the quickest. He's not the fastest. He plays with his head. Players like that are highly skilled, and he is highly skilled, they usually do very well in the NBA. And again, he's a leader. And his presser yesterday, that all came through. He was very articulate. He was level-headed. They threw questions at him. He stayed cool, calm, collected, and gave a straight answer. That's a leader right there. That's a leader right there. So he's already set the tone. And not only that, Julius Randle, Obi Toppin, RJ Barrett, Mitchell Robinson to a man, they all gave that mantle to Brunson as the leader, as the guy with the ball in his hand, as the guy that's going to set the tone. Unless Brunson disappoints, and I really don't think he's going to, having dropped 40 in a playoff game and put Dallas in the Western Conference Finals, having done those things, I'm telling you, New York ain't going to be nothing for him. Okay, it really ain't. He's going to come through. And when he does, we're going to be in good shape. Again, even if he was to get hurt, I'm not worried because we still got D Rose, IQ, and don't forget my man Deuce. We got backup and then backup on top of the backup. So I'm not worried about it. We're in very good condition. This is a lot different than when we were saying made a trade of Marcus Camby for Antonio McDyess. Some of y'all remember that. And the whole franchise was on the shoulders of McDyess. He broke his kneecap his first year in New York. That was the end of that. If something like that was to happen to Jalen Brunson, I'm not concerned. Because like I said, we got backup and backup behind the backup. And I'm very confident in all of those guys, okay, to come through this year and do the thing, okay? So Brunson, I liked what I saw from him. What I saw from him yesterday is what I said, steady leadership, calm demeanor, cool head, prepared to lead. I think we're in good shape there. Mitchell Robinson. As usual, Mitch Rob is an enjoyable interview. The kid got a personality that's very hard not to like. You gotta like Mitchell Robinson, okay? But there was a maturity about him. He again answers questions straight, but he don't get himself in trouble either. And he'll let you know that. He's getting his $60 million, but the most important thing he said, I got a lot to prove. The second most important thing, I've worked on setting better screens, and hopefully between Jalen Brunson and Jalen Brunson and Emmanuel Quickly and D Rose, they find me. See, he's another one that because of lack of a point guard, his game was hurt. But now that we got one, you see some people, they look at Clint Capella, they look at Jared Allen, and they try to say that my man Mitch Rob is not as good as them. Please know what you're talking about. Trae Young is a real point guard. Darius Garland is a real point guard. James Harden can play the real point guard, MVP level. Those guys play with them. Okay? DeAndre Ayton played with CP3. Who Mitch Rob, point guard? Alec Burks, Alfred Payton. Come on, y'all. Let's be real. Stop hating. The Block Nest Monster got a point guard this year in Jalen Brunson. He's ready and Brunson's ready. And he's in shape. See, last year, again, some of y'all, because you're cursory, you're not really looking hard. You just look at a little bit of headlines and you look at a little bit of stats and you start tripping. Last summer, Mitch Rob could not work out all summer because of his foot. Therefore, he put on a lot of weight. He used the time to get in the weight room and he just got all big. And he shouldn't have did that. And then he didn't even get clearance to play until after the preseason last year. And then he spent the first half of the season losing all that weight he gained, thinking it was going to help him. And then the second half of the season, you saw Mitch Rob, the guy that we see now. So this year, he spent the summer working on his game. He said he spent the summer working on 15-footers and jump hooks. He spent the summer getting his conditioning up and getting his wind up, which is exactly what you want to see from him. And again, this year, he just doesn't have one point guard. Again, he got Jalen Brunson, Emmanuel Quickly, Derrick Rose, and Deuce McBride. He got 4 point guards. All of them going to look for him. That was good to see. His spirit was what you expect. His weight was what you expect. We know what to expect from Mitch Robinson. Let's say he doesn't get the 15-footer or the jump hook this year. Okay. If he gets us 2 blocks a game, 12, 14 boards, 12, 14 points, and moves the way Mitch Rob can move, which is elite in terms of covering ground with his length, we are going to be in really good shape this year. Really good shape. Okay. So that was excellent. Now, to me, I'm saving the best for last. That's RJ Barrett. Even though I have said right here, and it was true, Jalen Brunson is giving the basketball. He's the coach on the floor. He's going to be the leader. It was quite apparent to me that more than in the last 3 seasons, RJ has matured to the point where he's ready to take the mantle as the face of the franchise. And he is the face of the franchise. It's not Julius Randle. It was quite obvious when you heard him answer hard questions about the trade. He answered the questions and said, I prove I'm good, regardless of what they do with me. I work hard, I put my effort into it, and I'm good. Then they said, well, what happened when they put your name in the trade? He said, the rumors are just rumors. And he said, I'm here. And that's exactly how he should have answered it. You see, there's a lot of media types, even up to right now, that are still tripping. How come they not talking about how they put RJ's name in the trade? That don't matter. And RJ said it. He said everybody's names get placed in trades. And everybody I remember there was a time the Lakers were talking about trading Kobe Bryant to the Clippers. Yes, that did happen. At the time, him and Shaq was having a beef. So everybody's name, and then Shaq left, everybody's name get placed in trade rumors. Very few people don't get placed in trade rumors. Very few. Okay? So for people to be acting like we need to discuss more why RJ's name was in the trade, y'all need to start tripping. RJ's a Knick, and he just signed for 4 years, $120 million. So let's move on. Okay? And that's what RJ's attitude was. Let's move on. And he was so cool about it, so mature. I think, we're going to be in good shape. Now, I don't know if y'all believe in signs. What I mean signs is kind of like a premonitions or kind of like something that shows something that may come. It was a surprise to me to learn that Mark Berman won't be covering the Knicks anymore. In fact, Julius said, what happened to Berman? He don't want to show up for his last day of work? That's a sign to me that we have just changed directions in New York and Madison Square Garden. You see, the media is very upset right now. If y'all want to see Knicks hate, and the reason now, at this particular moment, at this particular time in history, the Knicks ain't having media come in and ask stupid questions about Donovan Mitchell or any other stupid question. They're controlling the media. They're controlling the narrative. I find that to be both refreshing and brilliant. And the media's people that are really into the information soundbite, let me get a clickbait for y'all, are very upset because Leon Rose ain't giving you nothing. The players are smart enough to know they ain't giving you nothing. And they're controlling the narrative. Now, the next move now, after you got the narrative under control, you keep the inner sanctum of the front office with the Don and his crew. What you do now is you got to produce on the court. So if the Knicks start to win, which I'm, as a Knicks fan, I'm very confident in 45 plus with the way I just described it. If they start to win, the only narrative you can bring, if you got any competence, is the Knicks are winning. Now, of course, people will try to bring rumors. And again, I'm telling you, a rumor doesn't mean it came from Madison Square Garden. It doesn't mean that Leon is thinking what the rumor says. And don't try. And what some of y'all do is you take the rumor and you act as if it's really from the Knicks. And then you start judging the Knicks based on the rumor. RJ said it best. A rumor is a rumor. It's not a factoid. Don't judge Leon on some idiot from some paper's rumor. Okay? Judge them on what they do and what they actually say that you have heard. Then you won't be tripping so much. Some of y'all. Most of y'all get it. But I'm saying for some of y'all to get educated on this in this area. Because when the Knicks start to win, you're going to see a lot more of rumors of try to get you off the fact the Knicks are winning. Or maybe they're the top 5 in the East, top 5 in NBA defense. Stay with what's happening. So you can see what's going on. Okay? All right. That was that. Next Tuesday night, we're getting together at my house here in Florida, in the Orlando area, to watch the first preseason game of the season. If you are in the area, you want to hang out, please send an email. Send an email, rawhebrewremnant12 at Gmail, Raw Hebrew Remnant 12 at Gmail. I'll put it in the description box. We can hang out. We're trying to get together, the fellas, for the first game of the season. This is going to be good. This is going to be good. We're going to be excited, okay? So down here in Sunshine State, let me know if you're down. I already got a couple of my homies already down. So let's see what else we could get. Be safe out there, especially, again, those of you on the West Coast, in the Tampa, Clearwater, St. Pete area. Be safe. Our prayers are with you. I know the Most High got you. Be safe out there. Enjoy the rest of your week. Shalom.